Hey there, welcome in. Go ahead and get comfortable wherever you happen to be right now. Maybe you're already tucked under the covers. Maybe you've got one lamp glowing soft in the corner. Maybe you're just lying there in the dark, letting the day finally loosen its grip. However you got here, I'm glad you did. There's no rush tonight. Nothing you need to do. Nowhere you need to be. For the next little while, the only job you have is to rest. And honestly, that's a job you're already really good at, even if it doesn't always feel that way. Tonight, you and I are going to drift together toward one of the gentlest, most quietly astonishing ideas in the whole universe. We're going to travel toward the oldest light there is. Not the oldest light on Earth, not the oldest light your eyes have ever seen. The oldest light in all of existence. Light that's been traveling for almost 14 billion years just to reach us tonight, right where you're lying. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to go anywhere to meet it. You don't have to lift a finger. It's already been on its way for longer than there have been stars, longer than there's been Earth, longer than there's been anything you could point at and name. It's coming to you, softly, from every single direction at once. And by the time we're done, I hope it feels a little bit like an old friend. But before we go anywhere, let me say the quiet thing I like to say at the start. If these calm stories help you unwind, if they help you slip into sleep a little easier, it really does mean the world if you take one small, sleepy second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That's genuinely all it takes to help me keep doing this, helping folks like you settle down at the end of long days, one sleepy soul at a time. You don't have to do it right now. Don't even open your eyes if they're already closed. You can do it tomorrow, whenever it's easy. I just wanted to whisper it here at the beginning, and now it's said. And now we can let it go and sink into the good part. So, let's start simply. Let's start with something you already know in your bones, even if you've never put words to it. When you look up at the night sky, you are looking backward in time. Every point of light up there is old news, a message sent long ago, arriving only now. The light from the moon is a little over a second old by the time it lands in your eyes. The light from the sun is about 8 minutes old, which means if the sun ever quietly winked out, we'd all keep basking in its warmth for 8 full minutes before we noticed anything was different. And the light from the stars? Oh, that's older still. Some of those tiny pinpricks left their stars hundreds of years ago. Some left thousands of years ago. A few of them left before there were people who thought to look up and wonder at all. That's the strange, lovely truth about looking at the sky. You're never really seeing the universe as it is. You're seeing it as it was. The night sky is a kind of gentle museum, a scrapbook of moments that already happened, all pinned up above you at once. And the deeper you look, the fainter and farther the light, the further back in time you go. Look at the moon, and you're seeing a heartbeat ago. Look at the sun, and you're seeing breakfast. Look at the farthest galaxies, and you're seeing a time before the Earth had even formed, before there was any ground to stand on, before the first single-celled anything drifted in the first warm sea. And tonight, we're going to follow that thread all the way to the end, all the way back. Because if you keep looking further and further, past the stars, past the galaxies, past everything with edges and names, you eventually reach a wall of light, a soft, faint, all-over glow that fills the entire sky in every direction. That's it. That's the oldest light in the universe. And it has a name that sounds far more complicated than the thing itself really is. Scientists call it the cosmic microwave background. But you don't need to remember that. You can just think of it the way I like to, as the universe's very first light. The afterglow of the morning, the whole cosmos woke up. Let me set the scene for you, slowly, the way you'd unfold an old, soft blanket. A long, long time ago, around 13.8 billion years ago, give or take, everything that exists was packed together into something unimaginably small, unimaginably hot, and unimaginably dense. Every star you'll ever see, every galaxy, every atom in your body, every drop of every ocean, all of it squeezed into a space smaller than you can really picture. And then it began to expand, not an explosion out into empty space, the way we usually imagine, but space itself, stretching, unfolding, growing in every direction at once. That's the beginning we call the Big Bang. Though honestly, it wasn't a bang at all, it was silent. It was more like a breath. A slow, enormous inhale that hasn't finished yet. And in those very first moments, the universe was far too hot for anything gentle to exist. It was so hot that atoms couldn't hold themselves together. Everything was a thick, glowing fog. A soup of tiny particles zipping around so fast and so bright that light itself couldn't get through. Picture the densest fog you've ever driven through on a late night. Headlights just bouncing right back at you. The road ahead swallowed up in white. The early universe was like that, but everywhere, and glowing from the inside. Light was trapped. It couldn't travel in a straight line for more than the tiniest instant before bumping into something and scattering off in a new direction. The whole cosmos was bright, and yet, in a way, it was blind. Nothing could see through it. Nothing could see across it. And then, slowly, over hundreds of thousands of years, the universe did the same thing you're doing right now. It began to cool down. It began to relax as all that space kept stretching. The heat spread thinner and thinner, and the temperature dropped degree by degree. The way a room cools after you turn off the oven and open a window to the night air. And when the universe had cooled just enough, after about 380,000 years, which sounds like forever, but is really just the blink of a cosmic eye, something quiet and wonderful happened. The fog lifted. For the very first time, the little particles slowed down enough to join hands and settle into the first calm, complete atoms. And the moment they did, all that trapped light was suddenly set free. All at once, across the entire universe, the fog cleared, and light could finally travel. It streamed out in every direction, unobstructed, for the first time ever. That flash of freed light, that great, soft exhale of the newborn cosmos, is the very light we're talking about tonight. It's been traveling ever since. It never stopped. It's still going, this very second, passing through the room you're lying in, passing right through you, without you feeling a thing. Isn't that a gentle thought to fall asleep on? That the oldest light in the universe is not locked away in some distant vault at the edge of everything. It's here. It's ordinary. It's all around you, all the time. It's in the space between the walls and the ceiling. It's drifting through your pillow, If your eyes could see it, the whole sky, in every direction, day and night, would glow with a faint, even warmth, like the inside of a lampshade, like the soft light behind closed eyelids. We just can't see it, because over all those billions of years, as the universe kept stretching, that light stretched too. It cooled and softened until it slipped out of the range our eyes can catch, into a kind of light we can only feel with special instruments. But it's there. It has always been there, quietly holding the whole sky together like a blanket you didn't know was tucked around you. And here's a small, homey detail I've always loved. Back in the 1960s, two scientists were working with a big antenna, trying to listen to signals from space, and they kept picking up a faint hiss, a soft, steady static that they just couldn't get rid of. No matter which way they pointed the antenna, no matter the time of day, there it was. This quiet whisper of noise coming from everywhere at once. They cleaned the equipment. They chased away some pigeons that had nested inside it. They checked and rechecked everything. And the hiss stayed. Because it wasn't a fault. It wasn't interference. It was the universe's first light, gently murmuring in the background, exactly as it had been for nearly 14 billion years. They had stumbled, almost by accident, onto the afterglow of creation. And for a little while, before anyone told them what they'd found, it was just a faint, patient hum they couldn't explain. The oldest sound that's really light in all of existence, waiting quietly to be noticed. I love that it showed up as a whisper, not a roar, not a fanfare, just a soft, even hush filling all that empty space. It feels right, somehow, for the story we're telling tonight. The oldest thing in the universe doesn't shout. It settles. It hums low and steady, the way a house hums when everyone in it has finally gone to sleep. So that's where we're headed together, you and I. Not in a hurry. Not with any big dramatic twists. I promise you, there's no tension coming, no jolt around the corner. Just a slow, easy wander through the story of that first light. Where it came from, what it's carrying, how something so ancient can be so close, so ordinary, so gentle. We'll drift back to the very beginning, to that warm and glowing fog, and we'll watch it clear. We'll follow the light on its long, patient journey across the widening dark. And we'll come to understand, in a soft and unhurried way, that you are not separate from any of it. You're made of the same old stuff. You're wrapped in the same old light. You belong to this story just as much as any star does. For now, though, there's nothing to understand and nothing to figure out. Let all of that wait. Let your shoulders drop a little, away from your ears. Let your jaw unclench. Let your hands go soft and heavy. Let the weight of the day pour out of you and sink down into the mattress, down through the floor, down toward the quiet center of the earth. You don't have to hold anything up anymore. Not tonight. The whole enormous universe has been holding itself together for almost 14 billion years without a single ounce of help from you. And it will keep on doing exactly that while you rest. That's the deal. That's always been the deal. You get to let go, and everything keeps turning anyway. Take a slow breath in. If it feels good, nothing forced, just an easy one. And let it out even slower, like a sigh you've been saving all day. Good. There's no test at the end of this. You're allowed to drift off before we even reach the interesting parts. If sleep comes for you in the next few minutes, let it. That's the whole point. My voice will just keep going, soft and low, like that faint hum in the background of everything. And you can follow it as far as you like before you let go of the thread entirely, because that's what we're here for, you and me. This quiet, unhurried ritual of winding down, of shrinking the whole loud world back to the size of your own warm bed, of remembering that under all the noise and worry, the universe is a calm and patient place. And I get to do this here, night after night, helping tired folks lay their days down and drift off easy, one sleepy soul at a time. So stay with me, get a little more comfortable, and let's begin our slow journey toward the oldest light there is, together, in no hurry at all. Let me tell you where the story really starts, and I'll take it slow, the way you'd ease into a warm bath 1 inch at a time. Picture the very beginning of everything. Not a place, exactly, because there wasn't any place yet. Not a moment on a clock, because there weren't any clocks. And honestly, there wasn't even any before to stand on and look back from. Just a beginning, a soft, enormous, formless beginning, holding inside it every single thing that would ever come to be. Every star you've ever squinted up at, every drop of rain, every grain of sand on every shore, every person who ever lived, every creature that ever breathed. And yes, you too, the whole of you, folded up small and waiting, tucked into that first warm swell of existence, like a seed tucked into dark soil. I want you to notice how gentle that image is. We tend to imagine the start of the universe as something violent, all fire and thunder, some great cosmic explosion. But that word we use for it, you know the one, that Big Bang, it's really a bit of a misunderstanding. It wasn't a blast going off in the middle of an empty room. There was no room. There was no outside for it to explode into. It was more like a swelling, a stretching, a slow, smooth unfolding of space itself, expanding in every direction all at once, the way the surface of a rising loaf of bread carries the raisins gently apart, without any of them ever having to move at all. Nothing was flung. Nothing was shattered. Everything simply grew roomier, softer, cooler, calmer, moment by moment by moment. And it was warm in there. Warmer than you can really picture. So let's not even try too hard. Just let the words settle over you. Warm. The whole young universe was one glowing, even warmth, packed close and humming with energy, every part of it touching every other part. There were no gaps yet, no cold stretches of empty dark, no lonely distances, just a single, seamless brightness, everywhere at once, with nowhere that wasn't lit. If you could have been there, and of course you couldn't, but let's pretend, the way you'd pretend at the edge of a dream. You wouldn't have seen stars, because there weren't any. You wouldn't have seen shapes or edges or shadows. You'd have simply been inside the light, surrounded by it, held in it, on every side, with no direction you could turn that wasn't glowing softly back at you. Think of the coziest version of that you can. Think of lying under a thick blanket in the very early morning, when the light comes through the curtains all soft and diffuse, and you can't quite tell where one thing ends and the next begins. Everything's a little blurred at the edges, and warm and close, and there's nowhere you have to be. That's the feeling I want you to carry with you, as we drift back to the beginning. The early universe wasn't a scary place. It was a snug one, a bright, close, humming little world, full to the brim and perfectly content to just be. Now here's the thing about all that warmth, and I'll say it slowly, because it's the quiet heart of tonight's whole story. When something is that hot, that packed with energy, the tiniest pieces of matter can't quite hold still. They can't settle. You know how it is when you're overtired and buzzing, and you just can't seem to lie down and rest. Everything in you keeps jittering, keeps moving, won't quite let go. The early universe was a little like that. The smallest bits of stuff, the pieces that would one day become atoms, were far too energetic to join together into anything calm and steady. They zipped and darted and bounced around, never pausing, never pairing off. And the light couldn't get anywhere either. It kept bumping into all those restless little particles, scattering off them, ricocheting this way and that, never able to travel in a straight line for long. The whole universe was glowing, but it was a foggy sort of glow. A bright mist, light everywhere, but trapped, sort of pacing back and forth inside its own brightness, unable to strike out and go somewhere. I find that such a tender image, honestly. All that light, wanting to travel, and not able to yet. Not because anything was wrong, just because the time wasn't right. Because things were still too warm, too wound up, too full of motion to settle. And you know, sometimes that's just how it is. Sometimes rest doesn't come the instant you lie down. Sometimes the mind keeps pacing, keeps scattering, keeps bouncing off every little thought, and you can't quite find the straight, clear path down into sleep. And that's all right. It was all right for the whole universe too. It just needed to cool. It just needed a little time and a little space, and it got both in the gentlest way imaginable. Because remember, everything was slowly, smoothly stretching outward, growing roomier, and as it grew, it cooled. Not all at once, not with any sudden chill. Just a soft, patient easing of the heat, degree by degree, over a stretch of time so long it hardly makes sense to say it out loud. The warmth spread itself thinner and thinner across more and more room, the way a spoonful of honey stirred into a big pot of tea loses its intensity and mellows out into something mild and even. The buzzing began to quiet. The frantic motion of all those tiny particles started, ever so gradually, to slow, and the universe drifted, without any hurry at all, toward its very first moment of true calm. I want you to stay with that word, slow. Everything about this happens slowly, and there's such comfort in that. We live in a world that loves things fast. Fast answers, fast mornings, fast little glowing screens forever tugging at our attention. But the biggest, oldest, most important things almost never happen fast. A mountain doesn't rise in a day. A river doesn't carve its canyon over a weekend. And the universe didn't cool from a searing glow into a place where gentle things could form in some quick, impatient flash. It took its time. It had all the time there was, and it used every bit of it, unfolding at exactly the pace it needed. Never rushing, never lagging, just easing forward the way you're easing now. A little softer with each breath, a little heavier against the sheets, a little further from the noise of the day. And as all of this unfolded, something was quietly changing about the light too. Down there in the warm fog, the light had been trapped, scattering endlessly off all those restless particles, unable to travel free. But as things cooled, as the particles slowed and calmed and finally grew still enough to settle, the fog began to thin. The path was beginning to clear. It's a little like watching mist lift off a lake in the morning. You know how it hangs there thick at first, so you can't see the far shore at all. And then the sun comes up soft and slow, and the whole veil just gently loosens and lifts. And bit by bit, the world beyond comes into view. Something like that was getting ready to happen to the whole entire universe. But not yet. We're not quite there. Let's not rush ahead of ourselves. Let's just sit here for a moment in the warm and thinning fog and feel it easing. Take another slow breath if you'd like. In through the nose, soft and unhurried. And out, even slower, letting your whole body grow a little heavier as you go. There's nowhere to be, nothing to solve. The universe is cooling all around you at exactly the right pace, and you're cooling down right along with it, settling, softening, letting the day's heat drain away. Now, I keep saying the particles were slowing down, so let me paint you a picture of what those little particles actually were, because it's a homely, friendly sort of thing once you get close to it. There were tiny bits of stuff carrying a small positive charge. Think of them as the patient ones, the steady ones, waiting around to become the hearts, the very centers of atoms one day. And zipping all around them were even tinier bits carrying a small negative charge. Quick, flighty, restless little things, far too energetic in all that heat to ever stay put. For the longest time, these two kinds of particle just couldn't get together. The little quick ones had far too much energy. The moment they came near one of the steady ones, they'd zoom right past and away, unable to slow down and settle into place. It was like trying to get an overtired child to sit still for a bedtime story. Every time you think they're settling, off they go again. But warmth fades. It always fades, given room and given time. And as the universe kept stretching itself gently wider, as the heat kept spreading thinner and mellower, those quick little particles finally lost enough of their restless energy to stop racing around. And when that happened, oh, this is my favorite part, and I'll tell it soft. They began, at last, to settle down beside the patient ones, to pair off, to join hands, you might say. A steady one and a quick one, drawing close, easing together, and staying together, forming the very first calm, complete, whole atoms the universe had ever known. Just picture it. After all that heat and all that motion and all that endless, restless bouncing, the first true stillness, the first pairs settling into place, the first atoms quietly assembling themselves all across existence, everywhere at once, like a great room full of tired guests, all finding their seats at the very same moment and letting out one long, shared, contented sigh. There's something so restful about that image to me. The whole universe, for the first time ever, growing calm enough for things to actually come together and hold, to bond, to stay. Nothing forced it. Nothing hurried it along. It simply cooled enough, at last, for gentleness to become possible, for connection to become possible, for the first stable, quiet, ordinary little things to form and to last. And you're doing the very same thing right now, in your own small and human way. All the buzzing energy of your day, the little worries that darted around and wouldn't settle, the thoughts that kept ricocheting off one another, the restlessness that comes from being warm and wired and busy for hours on end. All of it is cooling now, slowing now, spreading thinner and mellower with every breath you let go. And as it does, you're settling too, coming together, growing calm enough at last for rest to take hold and stay. There's no rush to any of it. The universe took its own sweet time to reach that first moment of calm, and you can take yours. If your mind is still darting a little, still bouncing off this thought and that one, that's perfectly fine. It just means you're still cooling, still easing your way down toward that settled place. And it'll come. It always comes. You don't have to chase it, or force it, or catch it. You just have to keep letting the warmth of the day spread out and fade, breath by breath, the way the whole young universe let its own heat spread out and fade, until the stillness could finally arrive on its own. So let's stay here a while longer in this gentle stretch of the story, where things are just beginning to settle and the first calm shapes are forming out of all that softened light. There's more to come. The moment the fog fully lifts, the moment the light finally breaks free and begins its long, patient journey across the dark. The journey that ends, unbelievably, right here, tonight, all around you. But none of that needs you awake for it. Let it wash over you as slow and soft as it likes. I'll keep the story going, low and even, like that faint old hum in the background of everything. And you can drift along with it, or drift right off it into sleep, whichever feels easier. Either way, you're exactly where you need to be, cooling, settling, coming quietly together, held in the same old warmth that once cradled the whole beginning of the world. And now, let's ease a little further into the story, gently, the way you turn a page without ever fully waking, because there's a part of all this that I find especially soothing, and I want to share it with you now, softly, while everything around you stays still and warm. Remember that fog I mentioned, that thick, glowing haze the whole young universe was wrapped in for such a long, long while. I want you to think of it not as something dark or heavy, but as something soft. Imagine a room filled with the faintest golden mist, the kind you might see when late afternoon light comes slanting through a window and catches all the little motes drifting in the air. That's the feeling of it. A universe full of gentle glow, but a glow that couldn't quite get anywhere, because everywhere the light tried to go, it bumped into something. A tiny particle here, another one there, all of them still loose and restless and unsettled, and each one nudging the light this way and that, over and over, so that no single beam could ever travel very far before it was turned aside again. Picture a firefly trying to cross a room that's absolutely packed with the softest floating feathers. Every time it moves, it brushes against one and drifts, and brushes against another and drifts again, never quite making it to the far wall. That was light in those early days, full of energy, full of willingness to travel, but hemmed in on every side, kept close, kept local, kept from ever setting off on a real journey. And it stayed that way, not for a moment, or an hour, or a year, but for a stretch of time so long that the numbers almost stopped meaning anything. Hundreds of thousands of years of that soft, patient, glowing fog, just holding, just waiting, just being warm together in the dark. And here's the part I love. Nothing about that was a mistake. Nothing about it was going wrong. The universe wasn't stuck, and it wasn't struggling. It was simply doing what it needed to do, in its own unhurried time, the way a pot of water on a low flame will cool at exactly the pace it's going to cool. No faster and no slower, no matter how you feel about it. There's a real comfort in that, if you let there be. The idea that some things just take the time they take. That waiting isn't failing. That a long, quiet in-between stretch, where nothing dramatic seems to be happening, can be its own kind of necessary, its own kind of right. You might feel that in your own body tonight, that same slow settling. Maybe part of you is still in the fog a little, thoughts still drifting, still bumping softly into one another, not quite ready to travel off into stillness yet. And that's completely fine. That's exactly how it's meant to go. You don't leap from a busy day straight into deep rest, any more than the universe leaped from all that heat straight into calm. You pass through the in-between, the warm, glowing, drifting in-between, where the day is fading, but sleep hasn't fully arrived, where your thoughts are softening, but haven't quite let go. And that in-between isn't a problem to solve. It's just a place to be, for as long as you're in it, until the next gentle thing happens, all on its own. So let's stay in the fog together a little longer, you and me, and let me tell you what changed. Because eventually, slowly, so slowly you'd never have noticed it happening from the inside, the temperature kept easing down, and down, and a little more down. Nothing sudden, nothing sharp, just that same patient cooling, spreading out through everything as the whole universe kept gently stretching wider and wider, giving all that warmth more and more room to thin itself out. And there came a point, not a single dramatic instant, but a soft, gradual crossing over, where things had cooled just enough that those restless little particles finally slowed down and paired off and settled, forming those first whole, calm, complete atoms we talked about a moment ago. And do you know what that did for the light? It set it free. Because once the particles came together and grew quiet and stopped darting all around, there was suddenly nothing left in the light's way. No more feathers filling the room. No more endless little nudges turning it aside. All at once, though at once here still means something wonderfully slow and gentle. The fog simply cleared. The haze lifted. And for the very first time in the whole history of everything, light could stream out freely into the open, traveling in long, clean, uninterrupted lines, off across all that newly quiet space, with nothing to stop it and nowhere it couldn't go. Just imagine the softness of that moment. Not a flash, not a bang, not some blinding sunrise breaking over the world. More like the way a mist burns off a valley in the early morning, so gradually that you can't say exactly when it went from hazy to clear. You only notice at some point that you can see all the way to the hills now, and the light is pouring through, and the whole landscape has opened up around you, calm and wide and bright. That's the feeling of it. A quiet clearing, a gentle opening. The universe taking one long, slow breath and letting the light go. And that light, this is the part that still gives me the most peaceful kind of wonder. That light has been traveling ever since. From that faraway moment all the way down to this one, streaming out in every direction, patient and steady, crossing distances that are almost too vast to hold in your mind. Never rushing, never stopping, just going and going and going through the dark. The way a single held note can seem to hang in the air forever in a very quiet room. It didn't know where it was headed. It didn't need to. It simply set off once the way was clear and kept on going, gentle and constant, for an unimaginably long time. I want you to let that idea settle over you now, soft as a blanket being drawn up to your shoulders. Somewhere out there, that oldest light has been quietly on its way for longer than there have been stars, longer than there have been planets, longer than there has been anything at all that could look up and wonder about it. All that time, it was traveling, all through the slow forming of the first galaxies, all through the kindling of the earliest suns, all through the coming together of worlds and oceans, and the very ground beneath you. That ancient glow just kept on drifting through the dark, faithful and unhurried, carrying the memory of that first calm moment out across everything. There's no urgency in it, and I think that's why it makes such a good companion for falling asleep. That light has never once been in a hurry. It is never worried about arriving. It just travels at its own steady pace, the same pace it's kept since the very beginning. And it will keep traveling long after tonight is over, and long after you've woken and gone about your day and come back to rest again. It's the most patient thing there is. And a little of that patience can be yours right now if you'd like it. The permission to simply drift, without arriving anywhere, without needing to get somewhere by a certain time, just moving softly through the quiet, the way that old light moves, going wherever the gentle current of sleep decides to carry you. Let your breathing find that same easy rhythm, if it hasn't already. In, slow and soft, like the fog thinning out, and then out, slower still, like the light streaming free into open space. There's nothing to reach for in a breath like that, nothing to hold on to. You draw it in, you let it go, and each time you let it go, a little more of the day goes with it. A little more warmth, a little more busyness, a little more of whatever you were carrying. All of it thinning and spreading and fading out into the wide, calm dark, until there's less and less of it left, and more of that clear, open, drifting quiet in its place. And here's something tender to rest your mind on, while your body keeps sinking deeper into the bed. That light didn't leave the universe when it was set free. It's still here. It's woven right through everything, filling all the space between the stars. The faintest, gentlest glow spread evenly across the whole of the sky, in every direction you could possibly look. You can't see it with your eyes, and you can't feel it on your skin, but it's there all the same. A soft old warmth surrounding everything, surrounding you. The leftover glow of that first calm morning of the world, still lingering everywhere, still holding on, still humming quietly along in the background of all that is. So when I said a while ago that the oldest light in the universe isn't locked away somewhere far off, that it's right here, all around you, tonight, this is what I meant. You are resting at this very moment, inside the faint, ancient afterglow of the beginning of everything. It's in this room. It's passing through you as gently as a breath. It has been on its way toward this exact spot for almost the entire life of the cosmos. And now, tonight, it has arrived, softly, silently, asking nothing of you at all, only keeping you company as you drift. I find that so quieting to think about, that you're not separate from all of this vastness. You're not a small thing looking up at a big and distant sky. You're tucked right inside it, held within the same old warmth that has cradled every star and every world since time began. The same gentle glow that filled that first cooling fog is filling the space around your pillow right now. There's no edge between you and it, no wall, no far-off vault where it's kept apart from you. It's simply here, and you're simply here, resting together in the same soft light. The way you might rest in a warm room with someone you love, neither of you needing to say a word. So let yourself belong to it. Let yourself be one more calm, settled thing in a calm and settled universe, cooling gently at the end of a long day, coming quietly together the way the first atoms did, letting the last of your restlessness thin out and drift away. You don't have to do anything to deserve this rest. You don't have to earn the quiet. It's already yours, already all around you, already holding you the way it holds everything else, without effort, without asking, without end. And I'll keep telling the story, low and even, the way I promised, like that faint old hum threaded through the background of everything. You don't have to follow every word. You don't have to remember any of it. Let the sentences wash over you and past you and away, as soft and steady as that ancient light crossing the dark. If your thoughts wander off somewhere, let them wander. If your mind goes quiet and blank, let it stay that way. And if sleep comes to gather you up in the middle of a sentence, then good. That's the very best place for it to find you. Mid-drift, mid-breath, already halfway gone into the warm. Because there's nowhere you need to be tonight, but here, and nothing you need to do but rest, and all the time in the world to do it in. The universe waited hundreds of thousands of years for its first moment of calm, and it never once hurried. And it turned out just fine. So you can let yourself take all the time you need to. Cooling, settling, softening, sinking a little deeper with every slow breath out, held in that same old light that has been patiently making its way toward you since the very first quiet morning of the world. Let me tell you something else about that light, something I've been holding back until now, until you were good and settled, because it's the kind of gentle fact that's best heard when you're already halfway to sleep. When that ancient glow first slipped free and began its long, patient journey across the dark, it wasn't the faint thing it is tonight. Back then, it was warm, really warm, a soft, reddish-orange kind of warmth, the color of embers settling in a fireplace at the end of a long evening. If you'd been there to feel it, the whole sky would have glowed the way a room glows when the last of the coals are still breathing out their heat. The entire universe was lit from every side by that even, tender radiance. There was no up, no down, no single bright spot to look toward. Just a soft, all-over glow, wrapping around everything, the way lamplight fills a small room and leaves no corner cold. And here's the part I find so lovely. Over all the long ages since then, as the universe kept gently stretching wider and wider, that light stretched right along with it. Its waves were pulled longer and longer, slower and softer, the way a note held on a low string seems to sink and mellow as it fades. The warm orange glow cooled into a deep red, and then past red into colors your eyes can't even catch anymore. down and down into the quiet range we call microwaves. It didn't lose itself along the way. It didn't disappear. It just relaxed, little by little, easing into a longer, calmer form, the way your own breathing slows and lengthens when you finally let go of a hard day. So the light that fills your room right now is that same first glow, only rested, only softened by time. It went from something you could have seen with your own eyes to something so gentle it slips right through the walls without a sound, and through you, and onward into the night. It cooled the way a cup of tea cools on the nightstand when you've forgotten it there. Not suddenly, not all at once, but steadily, quietly, over such a long stretch of time that no one could ever have watched it happen. And do you want to know how cool it's become after all this time? It's one of the most soothing numbers I know. That ancient light, spread out across the whole of space, now sits at only about 2.5 degrees above the very coldest anything can ever be. 2.5 degrees above the bottom of all cold. That's how far it has settled. That's how deeply it has calmed itself over the long life of the cosmos. It started out hotter than the inside of a star, and it has come gently, patiently, all the way down to a whisper of warmth, barely lifted above absolute stillness. And it took its time getting there. It never rushed. It just let go. A little more and a little more, until it reached this deep and even calm that surrounds you now. I think there's something so restful in that the whole universe, given long enough, tends toward the quiet. That heat spreads out and thins and softens until everything sits at the same low, peaceful hush. Nothing in it fighting anymore, nothing straining, just a slow, shared settling, the way a house goes quiet, room by room as everyone in it finally falls asleep. You're part of that settling tonight. Your own warmth easing out into the cool of the evening, your own busy heat from the day letting itself thin and spread and calm, until you're resting at the same gentle temperature as the still air around you, matched and even and at peace. Now, there's another thing about that old light that I've always found tender, and it's this. When scientists first learned to look at it closely, really closely, with instruments carried up above the clouds and out beyond the air, they expected it to be perfectly smooth, perfectly the same in every direction. And it very nearly is. It is astonishingly even, astonishingly gentle, the same soft glow whichever way you turn, but not quite perfectly so. When they looked closer still, they found the faintest ripples in it, the tiniest variations, warmer here by a hair, cooler there by a hair, no more than a whisper of difference across the whole enormous sky. And those little ripples, those almost nothing wrinkles in the ancient glow, turned out to be the most important softness of all. Because in the places where the old fog was just the tiniest bit thicker, gravity had just a little more to hold on to. And so, ever so slowly, over ages and ages, those slightly denser patches began to gather themselves together, to draw inward, to pool. And out of those faint gatherings, given enough time, came everything. The first stars. The first great glowing rivers of stars we call galaxies. Every world, every sun. All of it grew, in the end, from those gentle uneven places in the oldest light. The soft spots, the tender variations, the parts that weren't quite smooth. Isn't that a kind thing to know as you're drifting off? That even the little imperfections had their purpose. that the universe didn't need to be flawless to become beautiful. It needed exactly those faint, quiet unevennesses to have anything at all. The stars are here because the old glow wasn't perfectly smooth. You are here, in some long and roundabout way, because of those tiny ripples in the ancient light. Nothing had to be perfect. It only had to be, and then to wait, and then to gently gather itself together in its own good time. I like to think about that when my own day has felt a little uneven, a little rough in places, a little less than smooth. Because it turns out the unevenness is where things get made. The quiet, imperfect patches are where the light pools and something new begins to grow. So there's no need tonight to smooth every worry flat before you sleep. No need to make the whole day perfect in your memory before you let it go. You can let it stay a little uneven, a little unfinished, and know that this is exactly how everything real has always been. Soft in some places, faint in others, and somehow, quietly, enough. And this old light is everywhere, you know. That's another thing I keep coming back to. It isn't off in one direction, like a single star you'd have to turn your head to find. It's coming at you from every side at once, all the time, from the deepest reaches of every direction there is. If your eyes could see it, the entire sky, in every direction you looked, would glow with the same faint, even warmth. There would be no dark patches, no empty corners. The whole heavens would be full, softly and completely full, of that ancient afterglow, wrapping the earth on all sides like a blanket that has no seams and no edges. You are inside it, the way a fish is inside the sea, so completely surrounded that you'd never even think to notice it. And yet it's there, holding you up on every side, all night long. There's a lovely stillness in picturing that there's no direction you could point that doesn't lead, eventually, back to that same first gentle glow. Look up, it's there. Look down, through the whole width of the earth and out the other side. It's there too. Turn any way you like, and the oldest light is already coming to meet you, patiently, evenly, from farther away than you could ever travel in 100 lifetimes. And all of it, every faint ray of it, has been traveling toward this one quiet room, this one warm bed, this one slow breath you're taking right now, for almost as long as there has been a universe to travel through. Sometimes I think that's the gentlest kind of company there is. Not someone talking, not someone needing anything from you, just a soft old light that has crossed an unimaginable stretch of time and space simply to arrive, silently, right where you are, and keep you company while you rest. It doesn't want anything. It doesn't expect anything. It only fills the room, the way early morning light fills a room before anyone's awake to see it, quiet and even and asking nothing at all. You can lean back into that. You can let it hold you. It's been getting ready to for a very, very long time. And the beautiful thing is, it will still be here in the morning. It doesn't come and go like the sun. It doesn't rise and set. It's simply always there, threaded steadily through every bit of space, glowing at its patient 2.5 degrees, the same as it was an hour ago, the same as it will be when you wake, the same as it will be 1,000 years from now. There's a real comfort in that steadiness, I think, in knowing that some things don't flicker. Some things just hold. This oldest light is one of them. Constant, unhurried, unbroken, humming along in the background of everything, whether anyone's paying attention or not. You can let go tonight, knowing it will keep watch in its quiet way and still be shining softly all around you when the morning comes. Before you slip all the way down into sleep, I'd love it if you did one small, easy thing for me whenever you happen to wake and think of it. Down in the comments, tell me where you're listening from tonight and what the sky looks like from your window. Clear or cloudy or full of city glow. I love reading those little notes. It's a gentle thing, honestly, to picture all of us scattered across so many different places, under so many different patches of sky, and yet every single one of us wrapped in the very same ancient light, resting inside the very same old warmth, drifting off beneath the very same quiet universe. You don't have to write a word right now, of course. Just let the thought keep you company. We're all here together, held in the same soft glow, settling down at the end of the same long day. And there's nowhere any of us needs to be but exactly here, breathing slow, sinking deeper, letting that oldest light carry us gently down towards sleep. There's something else I've been saving for you, and it fits right here, now that we're this far down into the quiet. You know how, when you're settling in for the night, you sometimes hear the small sounds of the house, the soft tick of something cooling, the hush of the air, the little settling creaks that you stop noticing after a while? Well, the oldest light works a bit like that. It's always there, humming faintly in the background of everything. And for most of human history, nobody even knew to listen for it. It took us thousands and thousands of years of looking up before we finally realized that the whole sky was quietly glowing, ever so softly, in a color our eyes were never built to see. And here's the gentle part. If your eyes could somehow be tuned to that soft glow, if you could open them tonight and see the way certain instruments see, the entire sky would be lit up, not with stars scattered here and there against the black, but evenly, everywhere, top to bottom, edge to edge, a smooth and steady shine with no dark gaps at all. There'd be no empty patches, no true blackness anywhere, just a calm, all-over glow, wrapping the whole sky like the inside of a warm shell. I find that such a soothing thing to picture as you're lying there, that the darkness overhead isn't really empty at all, that it's brimming, quietly, with the faint light of the very beginning, filling in every last corner you thought was black. Let me tell you where that light is actually coming from, because it's gentler than you might expect. When we look out at that ancient glow, we're not looking at a single point somewhere far off. We're looking at a kind of soft wall that surrounds us in every direction. The scientists have a lovely, sleepy name for it. They call it the surface of last scattering. It's the moment, frozen out there at the edge of what we can see, when the fog finally thinned and the light slipped free for the last time. And because that light has been traveling toward us ever since, from every direction at once, it reaches us as though we're sitting at the very center of an enormous glowing sphere. Not because we're special, not because we're anywhere important, but simply because light from that first moment is arriving from all around us, all the time, evenly, from as far as we can possibly see. Think about how gentle that arrangement is. Wherever you happen to be lying tonight, whatever city, whatever quiet street, whatever small room, you are sitting at the middle of your own soft sphere of ancient light, and someone resting on the far side of the world under a completely different patch of sky, is sitting at the center of theirs. Everybody gets to be the center of it. There's enough of that first glow to go around, enough to wrap every single one of us in our own warm shell of it. And no one has to reach for it, or earn it, or go looking. It simply arrives, quietly, wherever you are, and settles in around you, like the light was always meant to find you there. Here's another small thing I've always loved, and it might make you smile as you drift. For a long stretch of the last century, before everything went digital, people had these old televisions, the big, heavy kind with the round dials. And when a channel wasn't broadcasting anything, the screen would fill with that soft, fuzzy static. That gray, snowy shimmer, that gentle hiss. Well, a tiny sliver of that static, a small, faint fraction of it, was actually this, the oldest light in the universe, arriving after its unimaginably long journey, showing up quietly in living rooms as a little bit of that soft snow on the screen. People would reach over and change the channel, never knowing that a whisper of the beginning of everything had just brushed against them in their own front room. I think that's such a tender little secret, that the first light was there all along, threaded into the quietest, most ordinary corners of ordinary evenings, keeping people company without a single one of them realizing it. And it's still doing that, right now, in the room where you're resting. That same ancient glow is passing gently through the space all around you, as I speak, through the walls, through the window, through the still air above your bed. Photons. Those are just the tiniest little parcels of light. From the beginning of everything are drifting through this very room in their countless numbers, softly, harmlessly, without a sound. You can't feel them. They don't press on you, or warm you, or ask a thing of you. They simply pass through, the way moonlight passes through a curtain, filling the space and moving on. An endless quiet stream of the oldest light there is, flowing gently through the dark while you lie there and breathe. Let me give you a number, just one, and I'll say it's soft. In every little space around you, every space about the size of a sugar cube, a tiny cube you could hold between two fingers, there are hundreds upon hundreds of these ancient particles of light, drifting through at every single moment. Not just in observatories, not just out in deep space. Right here, in the space just above your pillow, in the space between your hand and the blanket. Hundreds of them in every little cube of air, everywhere, all at once, all of them carrying the faint warmth of the first moment. The whole universe is gently soaked in it, saturated with it, the way a soft cloth is soaked all the way through with warm water. There isn't a corner anywhere that this old light hasn't reached. And I find it so restful to remember that this light is, in a real way, the same age no matter where it comes from. When it reaches you from one direction, it's set out on its journey at the very same distant moment as the light reaching you from the opposite direction. They're twins, in a sense, born together in the same first cooling, released in the same gentle thinning of the fog. And only now, after all this time, arriving at your quiet room from opposite sides of the whole sky. Everything about it is even. Everything about it is balanced. There's no ragged edge to it, no seam, no place where it runs thin and gives out. It's one smooth, continuous glow, laid evenly over the whole of the heavens, holding steady all around you like the calmest thing there ever was. There's a lovely word the scientists use for how even it all is, though I'll spare you the technical shape of it. They marvel, quietly, at how astonishingly smooth this old light is, how nearly identical it looks no matter which way they turn to measure it. If you took its temperature over here, and then over there, and then anywhere at all across the entire sky, you'd get very nearly the exact same gentle reading every time, down to a hair. The whole universe, it turns out, cooled down together, all of a piece, like a single great pond settling into stillness after a long, warm day. And that evenness, that deep and patient smoothness, is part of why the sky can feel so calm to look at, even when you don't know quite why. Some quiet part of everything really is that steady, that balanced, that unbroken. It really is as even as it feels. I want you to hold that thought for a moment, softly, without gripping it. The idea that the whole vast universe, for all its size, for all the enormous stretches of dark between the stars, is at its foundation a remarkably gentle and orderly place. Not chaotic, not jagged, not something to brace against. Underneath everything, wrapped around everything, there is this smooth, patient, evenly spread glow, the same in every direction, cooling ever so slowly across ages so long the mind can't really hold them. And you are inside of it, not looking at it from outside, not separate from it, inside it, part of it. One more small, warm thing resting within the same soft light that fills the room and the sky and the whole reach of space beyond. Here's a thing worth knowing, and it's a comfort, I think. That light is slowing down, in a manner of speaking, not its speed. Light always travels at the very same pace, but its warmth. Every year, by an amount far too small for anyone to ever feel, it cools just a little bit further as the universe keeps stretching gently wider. It's been doing this the whole time, unhurried, unbothered, a fraction of a degree at a time, over such enormous stretches that 1,000 human lifetimes wouldn't add up to a change you could notice. There's something so calming in that pace to me. Nothing about this light has ever rushed. Nothing about it has ever spiked or lurched or hurried to be somewhere. It simply eases, softly, endlessly, cooler and cooler by the gentlest degree. The way a warm room slowly cools through the long, quiet hours of a night. And you might notice, if you let yourself, that your own body has been doing something a little like that as you've settled in. When we drift towards sleep, we cool, just slightly, all on our own. The warmth of the day eases out of us bit by bit, and that small softening of our own heat is part of what carries us down into rest. So in a quiet way, you and the oldest light are doing the very same thing tonight. Both of you cooling gently, both of you slowing, both of you letting go of the warmth of a long stretch of time and easing towards stillness. You're in good company. The whole universe is settling right alongside you, degree by patient degree, and there's no reason at all to do it any faster than it wants to be done. Let me tell you one more small thing before we drift further, because it's a kind one. That surface of last scattering I mentioned, that soft glowing wall that surrounds us on every side. It isn't a place you could ever reach. You couldn't travel to it, no matter how far you went, because it isn't really a location at all. It's a moment. It's the edge of how far back in time our eyes and instruments can possibly see. A boundary made not of distance, but of age. Beyond it, the fog was still too thick for light to escape, so there's simply nothing further to look at. Not darkness, exactly. Just the gentle limit of what can ever be seen. And I find that oddly comforting. The idea that the very oldest thing we can look upon is not some cold, hard wall out at the end of space, but a soft, warm glow marking the moment the universe first grew clear enough to shine. The furthest thing we can see is also the gentlest. The oldest thing is also the softest. There's a kind of mercy in that, I think, and it's a good thing to carry with you toward sleep. So let it be there, all around you, the way it's always been. That even, patient, ancient glow, filling every corner of the sky, passing quietly through the room, arriving from every direction at once, cooling ever so slowly through ages beyond counting, asking nothing of you at all. You don't have to hold on to any of these facts. You don't have to keep them straight or remember them in the morning. Just let them settle over you like soft snow on a still night, drifting down without a sound, covering everything gently, making the whole world quieter and rounder and calmer than it was a moment before. The oldest light is here. It has always been here. And it will go right on shining, softly and evenly, and without the smallest hurry, all around you, all through the night, while you rest. There's another quiet fact I've been saving for you, and it fits gently into this hour. All that ancient light, the whole soft glow we've been talking about, is made of countless tiny travelers, little parcels of light, each one set loose at that same faraway moment when the fog first cleared. And here's the part that always slows my breathing when I think of it. There are so many of them, so unimaginably many, that they far outnumber all the ordinary bits of matter in existence. For every single speck of stuff that makes up a star, a planet, a person, a grain of sand, there are hundreds of millions of these little light travelers drifting quietly through the dark. The universe, it turns out, is filled far more with soft ancient glow than with solid things. Isn't that a tender idea to rest on? That the emptiness around you isn't really empty at all, but brimming, gently, with more light than you could ever count. Most of it far too faint and cool for your eyes to catch. Right now, in every small pocket of space around your bed, in the space your own hand would pass through, if you reached out into the dark, there are hundreds of these ancient travelers resting there too, arriving softly, moving on, arriving again. You are swimming in them. You always have been, and they've never asked a thing of you. Let me tell you how we came to see them so clearly, because it's a gentle story of patience, and patience is a good companion for sleep. After those first scientists heard that faint hiss and understood what it was, others wanted to look closer, to draw a proper picture of that oldest light. So, little by little, over many quiet years, they built instruments and lifted them up, first on balloons that rose high above the thickest air, then on machines carried far out beyond the whole of the sky, where nothing of our warm and busy world could get in the way. And up there, in the cold and the stillness, these patient instruments did nothing but listen. They swept their gaze slowly across the entire heavens, one soft patch at a time, taking the temperature of the ancient glow again and again and again, for months on end, never hurrying, simply gathering the faint warmth, drop by drop, until a picture of the whole sky slowly came together. Think of how calm a task that is, to sit far above everything and simply measure the gentlest warmth in existence, over and over, until the oldest light gives up its portrait. There's no rush in a job like that. There couldn't be. The light had waited nearly 14 billion years to be seen properly. A few more quiet months of careful listening was nothing at all. And when the picture finally came together, it was one of the loveliest things anyone had ever made. A map of the entire sky, soft and mottled and even, showing that ancient warmth stretched across every direction. A portrait of the universe as a newborn, painted in the faintest differences of heat. I like to imagine those scientists the first time they saw it whole, sitting quietly in a dim room, looking at the very oldest thing that can ever be seen, rendered soft and complete before them. No trumpets, no noise, just a gentle picture of where everything began, glowing evenly on a screen, patient as ever. Some things, when you finally see them clearly, don't startle you. They settle you. And I think that map is one of them. Now, here's something small and curious that I find oddly soothing. When those instruments looked out at the ancient glow, they noticed that one whole half of the sky seemed just the faintest touch warmer, and the opposite half just the faintest touch cooler. The tiniest lean, far too gentle for any eye to catch. And for a moment, you might think something was uneven about the light itself. But it wasn't the light. It was us. It was our own slow drifting through space that tipped the balance ever so slightly. The way the air feels a hair warmer on your face when you walk forward on a still evening, and a hair cooler at your back. We are moving, quietly, carried along with our whole corner of the heavens. And that soft lean in the oldest light is simply the sign of our own gentle motion written across the sky. I love that. Even at rest in your bed tonight, perfectly still as far as you can tell, you are being carried somewhere, smoothly and without a sound, and the ancient glow feels it and shows it. You don't have to steer. You don't have to paddle. You're already being carried the way you've always been carried, gently onward through the dark. And here's a thing that took my breath away the first time I understood it, though it's a soft kind of wonder, the kind that makes you sink a little deeper into the pillow rather than sit up. Those faint mottled patches in the ancient glow, those places just the tiniest bit warmer or cooler than their neighbors. They aren't scattered about at random. They come in a pattern, a gentle, regular rise and fall, like ripples spreading across the surface of a still pond. And that's exactly what they are. Ripples. In the young universe, before the fog cleared, all that hot and glowing stuff was gently sloshing, pressed together by gravity, then pushed back out again by the warmth of the light within it, then drawn together once more, over and over, a slow and enormous breathing in and out. Sound waves, really, the deepest and slowest sound the universe has ever known, rolling through the fog for hundreds of thousands of years. And when the fog finally cleared and the light slipped free, those waves were frozen right where they stood, printed forever into the ancient glow as those soft ripples of warmth and cool. So when we look at the oldest light, we are, in a quiet way, looking at a sound, the held note of the newborn universe, a single long chord that rang out through the dark and then fell still. I find that almost unbearably gentle. That the beginning of everything didn't crash or clatter, but hummed, low and slow and even. And that we can still see the shape of its song written softly across the whole of the sky. Let that carry you for a moment. The thought of the universe humming to itself, long ago, in the warm dark. A sound so deep and so slow that a single one of its notes took longer than you could imagine to rise and fall. Nothing sharp about it, nothing loud, just a vast, patient breathing, in and out, through ages and ages, until at last it eased into silence and left only a soft glow behind. Your own breath is doing something like that now, isn't it? Slow and even and unhurried, rising and falling with no effort at all, the way it knows how to do all on its own while you rest. You and the newborn universe, both breathing low and slow in the quiet. You're in good company tonight. You always have been. There's one more thing about those ripples that I think is the kindest of all, and it's this: those gentle waves in the ancient glow, those faint places where the young universe gathered just a little more thickly. They didn't stay still and empty. Wherever the glow was a touch warmer, a touch denser, gravity had that little bit more to pull on. And over the long, slow ages that followed, those soft, crowded places drew more and more matter toward themselves, gently, patiently, gathering it in over millions upon millions of years. And from those faint ripples, in time, came everything. The first stars kindled in the densest of them. Galaxies gathered where the glow had pooled. Every bright thing in the night sky, every sun, every world, traces its beginning back to one of those soft imperfections in the oldest light. The little unevennesses weren't flaws at all. They were seeds. Every wrinkle in that ancient glow was a place where something would one day grow. A star, a world, perhaps even a quiet room with someone resting in it at the end of a long day. So when you look up, or when you simply lie here and picture that mottled map of faint warmth and cool, know that you are looking at the gentlest possible beginning of yourself. You came from one of those soft ripples too. Everything here did. I keep returning to that thought when things in my own life feel a little uneven, a little lumpy, not quite as smooth as I'd wish them to be. Because the universe wasn't smooth either, not perfectly, and it's a good thing it wasn't. If that oldest light had been utterly even, flawlessly the same in every direction with never a ripple to be found, then nothing would ever have gathered, nothing would ever have grown, and the whole of space would still be nothing but a thin, cold, empty glow drifting on forever with no stars in it at all. It was the little imperfections that made room for everything warm and bright and alive. So the next time your own day feels a bit rippled, a bit uneven, you might let yourself remember that the unevenness is where the growing happens. The smooth places stay empty. It's the gentle wrinkles that fill, slowly, over time, with something worth having. There's a soft mercy in that, I think, and it's an easy thing to carry with you down towards sleep. And through all of it, through the humming and the rippling and the slow gathering of stars from those first faint seeds, that ancient light has just kept on shining, evenly and patiently, filling every direction, cooling by the gentlest degree, asking for nothing. It watched the first stars kindle and never once flared brighter in surprise. It watched the galaxies wheel slowly into being and never hurried them along. It has simply been there the whole time, the calm and even background against which every bright and busy thing has played itself out. The oldest thing, and also the steadiest, the faintest, and also the most faithful. It was here before there was a single star to see it, and it will still be here, softly glowing, long after. There's a deep kind of restfulness in being near something that's steady, even if you can't feel it on your skin, even if your eyes will never catch it. It's here now, in the room, passing gently through the dark around your bed, exactly as it has passed through everything, everywhere, since the very beginning. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to hold it or understand it or keep it in mind. Just let it be there, the way it's always been, quietly keeping you company while the rest of the world grows still. And let yourself sink a little deeper into the warmth of where you are. There's something else about that steady old glow that I've been saving for you. Now that you're settled in so nicely, now that the room has gone quiet and your breathing has found its own slow rhythm. It has to do with just how faint that light really is, and why its faintness is one of the most comforting things about it. You see, when something is very bright, it demands your attention. Think of the way a lamp switched on in a dark room makes you squint, or the way the morning sun through a gap in the curtains can pull you out of a dream before you're ready. Bright things insist. They press on you. They want to be noticed. But the oldest light isn't like that at all. It's so gentle, so thinned out by all its long traveling, that it slips through the whole world without disturbing a single thing. It passes through the walls of your room, through the blankets drawn up over you, through you yourself, and you feel nothing, because it isn't asking for anything. It's the opposite of the alarm clock. It's the opposite of the phone lighting up on the nightstand. It's a light that has learned over an unimaginable stretch of time how to be present without ever being loud. And I find there's a lesson tucked inside that, a soft one, the kind you can hold loosely as you drift. Some of the most faithful things in a life are the quiet ones, the steady ones, the ones that don't clamor for you, but simply stay. Let me tell you what that faintness actually means, in the gentlest way I can, because I don't want you doing any hard arithmetic this close to sleep. Picture the warmth of that ancient glow spread out across all of space. It's cold now, colder than the coldest winter night you've ever stepped out into, colder than the deepest frost. So cold, it sits just a couple of degrees above the point where all warmth runs out entirely. And yet it's still there, still glowing, still carrying, in its faint and patient way, the memory of a time when the whole universe was warm as a summer afternoon, and then warmer still. All of that heat, all of that early fire has cooled down over the ages into this soft, even hush that barely registers at all. Nothing was lost. It only spread out and thinned and quieted, the way the warmth of a bath spreads slowly through the water until the whole thing settles at one mild, even temperature, and you can't tell anymore where the warm part was. I think about that sometimes, the way heat doesn't vanish so much as it shares itself out. When you first climb into a cold bed on a winter night, there's that little shock of chill, and then slowly, your own warmth begins to fill the space around you. The sheets that were cool become mild, The pocket of air under the blanket grows soft and close. And by the time you're drifting off, you've made a little warm world for yourself out of nothing but your own quiet heat, spread evenly through the dark. The universe did something very like that, only across everything, and across ages so long they hardly bear thinking about. It took its early fire and shared it out into every corner, until the whole of space settled at one mild, even hush. And you're doing it too, right now, tonight, in your own small way, making a warm and settled place out of the day's leftover heat, letting it even out, letting it calm. There's a word the scientists use for how even that glow is, how remarkably the same it looks in every direction. And I won't burden you with it, but I'll tell you the feeling of it. Imagine standing in the very center of a vast, round room, and every wall of that room is exactly the same soft shade, glowing with exactly the same faint warmth, so that no matter which way you turn, you see the same gentle light. There's no corner that's brighter, no wall that's closer, no direction that pulls at you more than any other. You could turn and turn and turn, slowly, all night long, and the view would never change. And somehow that sameness isn't dull. It's restful. It's the restfulness of a place where nothing is out of order, where nothing needs fixing, where every direction is as calm and as cared for as every other. That's the room the oldest light makes around you. That's the room you're sleeping in tonight, whether you can see its walls or not. And here's a thought I find especially tender, one I like to turn over slowly in the quiet. That evenness, that astonishing sameness in every direction. It means the light reaching you tonight from over your left shoulder and the light reaching you from over your right. Though they've traveled apart for the entire history of everything and never once touched along the way, still carry very nearly the same gentle warmth. They agree with each other. They match. It's as though the whole sky had made a quiet promise at the very beginning to stay the same everywhere, and has kept that promise faithfully ever since, without a single lapse, across a span of time so vast that our biggest words for time feel small beside it. There's a kind of trustworthiness in that, a kind of deep reliability. And I think, as you're lying here, it's a fine thing to rest against. The idea of a universe that keeps its quiet promises, that stays even and steady and true in every direction, all the way out and all the way back. Now you might wonder how something can be so perfectly even and yet still have those faint little ripples we talked about earlier, those soft mottled patches just a hair warmer or cooler than their neighbors. And it's a lovely thing, really, because both are true at once. Step back far enough and the whole glow is smooth, one even wash of faint warmth from edge to edge. But lean in close, closer than any eye could ever manage, and you'd find those tender little variations, those gentle rises and dips, like the almost imperceptible texture of a well-worn blanket that looks flat from across the room, but reveals its soft weave when you hold it near. The smoothness and the texture aren't in conflict. They're two ways of seeing the same calm thing, depending on how close you lean. And isn't that true of so much that's worth resting near? A calm face has its small lines. A quiet room has its faint sounds. A settled life has its gentle unevennesses. The calm doesn't come from having no texture at all. It comes from the texture being soft enough, gentle enough, that it never disturbs the overall peace of the thing. Let yourself lean back now, away from the close details, and just take in the smoothness of it. The whole even glow, filling everything, the same in every direction, asking nothing, holding steady. You don't need to look for the ripples tonight. You don't need to look for anything at all. Let the picture stay soft and whole and far away, one gentle wash of ancient warmth, and let your mind rest flat against it the way you'd rest your cheek against a cool, smooth pillow at the end of a long day. I want to tell you, too, about the patience it took for us to understand any of this. Because patience is such a good companion this late in the evening. The people who study that ancient glow didn't learn its secrets in a rush. They built their instruments carefully over years, and then they waited. They pointed those instruments at the sky and gathered the faint light a little at a time, night after night, the way you might fill a wide bowl one slow drop at a time until, almost without your noticing, it's full. There was no hurrying it. The light is so faint that you simply have to wait for enough of it to arrive, and then wait some more, and let it gather quietly until the picture begins to show itself. And I love that, honestly, that the way we came to know the calmest thing in the universe was itself an act of great calm. You can't rush the oldest light. You can only make yourself still and open and ready and let it come to you at its own unhurried pace, which is, when you think about it, very much what you're doing right now. Making yourself still, opening, letting sleep come at its own pace, the way the light comes, the way everything gentle comes. Not when you grab for it, but when you finally stop grabbing and simply wait, soft and willing, in the warm dark. There were people who spent whole careers on this, you know? Long, patient lives given over to listening for something so faint it took the most delicate instruments ever made just to notice it at all. And they didn't seem to mind the faintness. If anything, I think the faintness was part of what drew them in. The chance to sit with something so quiet, so ancient, so far from the noise of ordinary days. They'd tend their instruments through the long, cold nights and watch that soft signal gather, drop by drop, and slowly a portrait would emerge, a portrait of the whole young universe at its very calmest hour. And every one of them, in the end, was really just doing what you're doing now, only pointed outward instead of inward, growing still enough to notice the faintest, oldest, gentlest thing there is. You're in good company tonight. The quiet company of everyone who has ever grown still on purpose and waited and let something soft arrive. Feel how your body has grown a little heavier since we started. That's the day letting go of you, one small measure at a time. The way the early heat let go of the universe. Not all at once, not with any drama, just a slow and steady easing, a gentle settling toward the mild and even calm that was always waiting underneath. There's nothing left for you to hold tonight. The thoughts that felt so urgent a few hours ago are already thinning out, already spreading and cooling and losing their edges. The way that ancient fire spread and cooled until it became this soft, forgiving hush that fills all of space and troubles nothing. Let them go the way the universe let its heat go. Not by pushing, just by allowing. Just by growing wider and quieter and more even, until the last warm bit of the day is shared out so gently through you that you can't find its edges anymore, and there's only the calm left, mild and steady, and the same in every direction. And that calm is holding you now, whether you feel its edges or not. The oldest light is in the room, passing through, faint and faithful, exactly as it has passed through everything since the very beginning. It isn't waiting for you to understand it. It isn't asking you to stay awake for it. It's perfectly content to keep you company while you slip further down, glowing softly all around your bed, even and patient and unhurried. The gentlest possible reminder that the universe you're resting inside of is a calm place at its core, a settled place, a place that took its own long time to grow quiet and has stayed quiet ever since. Let that be enough tonight. Let it be more than enough. There's nowhere else the light needs to be, and there's nowhere else you need to be either. Just here, just warm, just growing slowly heavier and softer and more at ease, held in the even glow of the oldest light there is, drifting gently toward the deep and simple rest that's been waiting for you all along. And here's something I keep coming back to, softly, in these late hours. That this oldest light doesn't just fill the space around you, it fills the space inside you too, the little hollows of your ears, the space behind your closed eyes, the gentle room inside your chest that rises and falls with each slow breath. There's no pocket of the world it hasn't quietly reached. It slips through the walls of your home, the way it slips through everything, unbothered, unhurried, without so much as a flicker. And you don't have to make room for it. You don't have to open a door or clear a space. It's simply here, the way the air is here, the way the dark is here, folding around you as easy as a held breath let go. I think that's one of the kindest things about it. It never once demands. It has crossed almost the entire history of everything to arrive in your room tonight, and it asks for nothing in return. Not your attention, not your effort, not even your wakefulness. It's perfectly happy to keep glowing all around you long after you've stopped listening. The way a fire keeps its warmth in the hearth long after the last person has gone up the stairs to bed. You can let go of it completely, and it will not leave. That's a rare kind of company, you know. The kind that stays without being kept, that holds without asking to be held. Let that settle into you now, slow and warm. There's nothing you're responsible for tonight, nothing you have to tend, nothing you have to watch over, nothing that will slip away if you stop keeping an eye on it. The oldest light has been faithful for longer than there have been eyes to see it, longer than there have been worlds to shine upon, and it will go on being faithful whether you follow it or not. So you can put down whatever small watchfulness you've been carrying, that quiet little part of you that stays half awake, half ready, half braced for something. You can set it down here in the even glow and trust that everything will keep on being just as calm as it is right now. Notice how your breath has slowed without your asking it to. That's the way of these things. The deepest calm never comes from trying. It comes the way the evening comes, without announcement, one soft shade at a time, until you look up and the light has changed and you couldn't say exactly when. That's how the universe found its own calm all those ages ago. Not by deciding to, not by working at it, just by growing wider and cooler and more at ease, the way a warm room settles overnight, the way a long day loosens its grip on you the moment you finally lie down. There was no effort in it. There's no effort in this either. You are cooling and settling as naturally as the whole young cosmos once did, and it cost you nothing at all. Let me tell you something gentle about the way that light travels, because I think it might soothe you to picture it. Every one of those little parcels of light I mentioned, those countless tiny travelers set loose at the very same faraway moment, has been moving in a perfectly straight line ever since. No stopping, no resting, no turning aside. And yet there's nothing restless about that motion, nothing hurried or striving. It simply goes, the way water goes downhill, the way a leaf comes down through still air, following the gentlest possible path without any struggle at all. For all this unimaginable time, that light has been doing the easiest thing there is, just carrying on, just being what it is, just moving the only way it knows how through the wide, quiet dark. And after all of that traveling, after crossing distances that would take your breath away if you let yourself dwell on them, it arrives here so softly you'd never know. It doesn't crash against your window. It doesn't rattle the panes or stir the curtains. It comes to rest against you the way the faintest warmth of a low fire reaches across a room. You feel it more than you notice it. And by the time you've noticed, you're already warmer than before. That's the whole manner of this ancient glow. Vast beyond measure, older than nearly everything, and gentle as a hand smoothing a blanket flat. There's no contradiction in that. The biggest, oldest things are so often the quietest. I want you to imagine, just for a moment and without any effort, that you could feel the whole of that glow at once, every direction of it. The light coming down from above your bed and up from below it. The light drifting in from beyond the walls on every side, all of it arriving together, all of it carrying that same mild and even warmth. Picture yourself resting right at the center of that, held on all sides equally, with nothing pulling you one way or another. No direction warmer than the rest. No direction that calls to you more loudly. Just an even, patient, encircling calm, holding you as gently from the left as from the right, from ahead as from behind, so perfectly balanced that you could let go of your whole body and simply float there in the middle of it, weightless and unbothered and completely at rest. That balance is real, you know. That's not something I'm inventing to lull you. The oldest light truly does arrive that evenly, that fairly, from every corner of the sky at once, so alike in every direction that even the most careful measuring finds only the faintest whisper of difference. You really are cradled in something that even. And I think there's such deep comfort in that. The knowing that the universe you're resting inside of isn't lopsided or leaning, isn't tilted toward one edge or straining toward some far-off corner. It's balanced. It's settled. It found its center a long, long time ago, and it has kept that center ever since. The same in every direction, calm all the way around. So let yourself borrow a little of that balance now. Feel how your weight has spread itself out into the bed, no longer held up by any effort of yours, just resting where it falls. Feel how your shoulders have eased down from wherever they'd been holding, how your jaw has softened, how the small muscles around your eyes have finally stopped their quiet work. You're finding your own center, the way the universe found its. Not by reaching for it, just by letting everything settle where it wants to settle, until you're even and calm and steady, held from every side by the softest glow there is. There's an old, quiet patience in all of this that I find so easy to lean on at the end of a long day. That light didn't rush to cool. The universe didn't hurry to grow calm. Everything happened in its own slow time, at its own unbothered pace, with all the patience in the world. And nothing was lost by taking so long. If anything, the slowness was the gift. The slow cooling is exactly what let those first calm atoms form, exactly what let the fog lift so gently, exactly what let the light slip free without any struggle. The calm came because there was no hurry, and the same is true for you tonight. Your own rest doesn't have to be reached for. It doesn't have to be rushed toward or worked at or won. It's come in the way everything gentle comes, slowly, softly, in its own good time, and all the surer for not being forced. Let me stay with that thought a moment longer, because it's a restful one. All through the history of everything, the deepest and most lasting calms have been the ones that took the longest to arrive. The quiet that settles fast can be broken fast, but the quiet that gathers slowly, drop by drop, over ages and ages, that kind of quiet holds. That's the kind the oldest light is made of. It didn't cool all at once, and it hasn't warmed back up since. It just eased down and stayed down, mile after mile of gentle stretching, age after age of soft cooling, until it became this steady, faithful hush that troubles nothing and asks nothing and simply keeps you company through the dark. Your rest tonight can be that kind of rest, the slow kind, the lasting kind, the kind that gathers so gradually you won't feel it arrive and won't feel it leave, and will only know, come morning, that you were held the whole night through. Feel now how far away the day has drifted. Those things that felt so pressing when the sun was up. They've grown thin and quiet, haven't they? The way the old fire grew thin and quiet as space stretched it out. They haven't been pushed away. You didn't have to fight them off. They simply spread and cooled and lost their edges. The way that ancient heat spread and cooled until it couldn't be found as heat anymore, only as the faintest, mildest glow. That's what's happening to the last of your day right now. It's not being held down. It's being let go, gently and completely, shared out so evenly through you that there's no sharp piece of it left anywhere. No one worry warmer than another. Just a smooth and even calm from the top of your head all the way down. And underneath all of it, holding all of it, is that same oldest light. Even now, even here, glowing softly through the room and through you, faithful as it has always been. It watched the whole universe grow quiet, and now it's watching over you as you do the very same thing. There's a rhyme in that I find so tender. The largest calm there is, keeping company with the small and ordinary calm of one person settling down to sleep. The two of them not so different, really. Both of them slow, both of them gentle, both of them arriving in their own unhurried time, and staying, and asking for nothing at all. So rest here, right in the middle of that even glow, and let the last of your wakefulness thin out the way the heat thinned out. There's nowhere the light needs to be but here, wrapped softly all around you, and there's nowhere you need to be either. Just here, just warm, just settling deeper into the quiet with every slow breath, held from every side by the oldest, gentlest, most patient light there ever was, drifting a little further down each moment toward the deep and simple rest that's been waiting for you, calm and steady all along. And isn't that a soft place to rest for a while? The thought of being watched over by something so old and so gentle that it has never once needed anything back. There's a kind of company that asks you to keep it up, to hold your end of the conversation, to stay bright and attentive so the other person doesn't feel alone. You know the kind. And then there's this other kind, the kind the oldest light offers, the sort that's simply there, quietly filling the room, wanting nothing from you at all. You don't have to entertain it. You don't have to answer it. You don't have to prove you're still awake. It just stays, the way the warmth stays in a room long after the fire's gone low. The way a hand resting on your shoulder can say everything without a single word. That's the company you're keeping tonight. The undemanding kind. The kind that lets you go all the way soft. Let me tell you one more gentle thing about that light. Something I find myself coming back to on the nights when my own mind won't quite quiet down. All of it, every last faint parcel of it, drifting in from every direction, has already done the hardest part of its journey. Think about that for a moment, without holding it too tightly. The long crossing is behind it now. It set out so unimaginably long ago, and it has traveled so unimaginably far, through the widening dark, past everything there is. And now, at the very end of all that traveling, it arrives here, in this room, on this ordinary quiet night. And its arrival asks nothing grand of it, and nothing grand of you. It just touches the walls, and the ceiling, and the soft edge of your blanket, and settles, the way a traveler finally sets down a heavy bag inside a warm house and lets their shoulders drop. There's a rest in that arriving. The reaching is over. It's here, and so are you. You've done your own long days traveling, all those hours and all those steps and all those little crossings from one task to the next. And now you too are simply here, setting the weight of it down, letting your shoulders drop at last. Notice, if you'd like, how little effort it takes to be exactly where you are right now. You don't have to arrange anything. You don't have to hold any part of yourself up. The bed is doing the holding. The dark is doing the holding. And that faint, faithful glow is doing its own quiet part of the holding too, drifting through the room so evenly that there's no corner of it colder than another, no edge to it, no seam, just a smooth and even warmth, the same wherever you turn your sleepy attention, the same whether you follow it or let it be. That's the beautiful thing about something so perfectly spread out. You can't fall off the edge of it because it hasn't got one. It surrounds you the way water surrounds a fish that has never once had to think about swimming. It's simply the medium you're resting in now, the gentle, glowing stuff of the quiet. And here's a thought to sink a little deeper into, slow as honey off a spoon. That same glow, the very one easing through your room this minute, is easing through everywhere else at the same time. Through the empty spaces between the far-off stars, through the great slow drifts of dust way out in the dark, through places no eye will ever visit and no foot will ever stand. It's not just here for you, and yet it's fully here for you, all at once, the way the light of a single candle can fill a whole room without any part of the room getting less of it. There's enough of this ancient warmth to go around the entire universe and still pour, undiminished, through one small bedroom, on one small world, where one tired person is finally, gratefully, letting go of the day. Nothing about you being here uses it up. Nothing about your resting in it takes it away from anywhere else. It's the most generous thing there is, that light. It gives itself completely to every place at once and never runs the least bit thin. I think that's why it makes such a good companion for sleep. Because sleep, real sleep, the deep and simple kind, asks you to stop keeping score, to stop measuring what you did against what you meant to do, to stop parceling out your attention in careful little portions to all the things that seem to need it. And here's this light that has never kept score of anything, that has never measured or portioned or held back. It just spills itself out, endlessly, evenly, over everything, without once asking whether the thing it's warming has earned the warming. It doesn't care that you left something unfinished today. It doesn't care that a thought got away from you, or that a word came out wrong, or that the list is still longer than the day was. It warms you exactly the same as it warms the great silent reaches between the galaxies, which is to say, gently, completely, and for no reason at all except that you happen to be here to be warmed. Let that be permission, if you've been waiting for some. Permission to stop earning your rest and simply take it. Let your thoughts, if any are still drifting through, go the way that light goes, slow and even and unhurried, spreading out until they lose their sharpness. You might notice a thought arrive, and instead of chasing it or pushing it off, you can just let it do what the old heat did. Let it spread and cool and thin until it's more of a soft glow than a thing with edges. There's no thought so pressing tonight that it can't be allowed to cool like that. Watch one come, if one comes. Watch it lose its heat. Watch it settle into the same mild, even quiet as everything else, until you couldn't say where it went, only that it isn't troubling you anymore, only that the room feels a little softer for its passing. That's not you failing to think. That's you doing exactly what the whole universe did on its long, slow way to peace. You're in good company. You're following the oldest pattern there is. And breathe now, easy and slow, the way you've been breathing without my needing to remind you. In, soft and unhurried, letting the cool quiet fill you. And out, slower still, letting a little more of the day leave with it. A little more weight, a little more holding on, a little more of whatever you didn't know you were still carrying until it started to lift. There's no rush to any of it. The breath knows its own way, the same as the light knows its own way, the same as sleep knows its own way to you. You don't have to steer. You can be a passenger tonight, carried gently down toward rest by something older and wiser and far more patient than any effort you could make. Just lean back into the current of it, the warm and even current of that ancient glow, and let it take you where it's always been so good at taking things, down into the deep, still quiet, where nothing is asked and nothing is owed. I want you to feel, if you can, how the room has gathered itself around you, soft and close. The dark isn't empty. It never was. It's full of that faint and faithful light, brimming with it, every inch of the air between you and the walls carrying its gentle warmth. You are not resting in a void tonight. You're resting in something that has been here far longer than the room, far longer than the house, far longer than the ground the house stands on, far longer than the light of the morning that will eventually come. Something that was here before the first star and will be here, still glowing softly, still asking nothing, long after you've woken and risen and forgotten you ever heard this. It doesn't mind being forgotten. That's part of its kindness. It holds you through the night and expects no thanks, and slips away with the morning without a fuss, and waits, patient as ever, to hold you again the next time you lie down in the quiet and let the world grow small. So let the world grow small now. Let it shrink gently from all its wideness down to the size of this bed, this breath, this soft and even glow wrapped close around you. There's nothing out past the edge of it that needs you tonight. It can all wait, the way the light has always been so willing to wait, for ages, for lifetimes, for as long as it takes. Nothing out there is cooling faster than it should because you stopped tending it. Nothing out there is growing cold for want of your attention. It's all held, the same as you're held, in the same wide and even patience, drifting gently toward its own good rest in its own good time. You can put it all down. You already have, mostly. Feel how much lighter you are for it. Feel how the last of the holding on is loosening, finger by finger, thought by thought, until there's nothing left in your hands at all but the soft weight of the quiet itself. And down you go, a little further, into the warm and even dark, not falling. There's nothing so sudden as falling in this. More like sinking, the slow and gentle way a leaf sinks through still water, turning softly as it goes, in no hurry to reach the bottom, content to drift down through the calm at whatever pace the calm allows. That's you tonight, drifting down through the ancient glow, turning softly, held on every side, cooling gently at the end of your long day, the very same way the whole vast universe cooled at the end of its first fierce hour, slowly, evenly, and all the way to peace. There's a floor of rest waiting somewhere far below you, deep and simple and still, and you'll reach it in your own good time. No need to hurry there, no need to do anything but keep drifting, keep breathing, keep letting go, wrapped warm the whole way down in the oldest and most patient light there ever was. And here's another gentle thing about that light, one I've been saving for you, because it's the kind of thought that settles best when you're already this far down. All that time the light spent wandering through the young fog before it broke free. All those long ages of scattering and drifting and never quite getting anywhere. None of it was wasted. It was the light learning patience. It was the whole universe practicing how to wait. By the time that glow finally slipped loose and began its long, open journey, it had already been held for so long that a little more waiting was nothing to it at all. And it's still waiting now, in a manner of speaking, still arriving, gently, from every corner of the sky, in no more of a hurry than it ever was. I want to tell you about the shape of its journey, because I think you'll find it soothing. When that light left the fog behind, the place it left from wasn't some single point off in the distance. It was everywhere. The whole young universe was glowing all at once, every part of it lit up soft and even. And when the fog cleared, the light set off from all of it, in every direction, all at the same slow moment. So the glow that reaches you tonight didn't come from one far-off lamp hanging somewhere out in the dark. It came from all around, from a great gentle shell of light that surrounds you on every side, the same distance away, no matter which way you turn. You're sitting, right now, at the very center of it, the way you'd sit at the center of a wide, still room with soft walls glowing faintly all around. And so is everyone. So is every star and every drifting speck of dust out there in the quiet. each one sits at the middle of its own soft shell of ancient light, all of us wrapped, each in our own way, in the very same gentle beginning. Think of how kind that arrangement is. There's no edge you'd have to reach, no far wall you'd have to travel to. The oldest light isn't off in some distant place you could never get to. It's here, and it's there, and it's everywhere in between, arriving at this moment and the next, and the one after that, endlessly, from all around. You couldn't step outside of it if you tried. It holds the whole universe the way still water holds a sinking leaf, from every side at once, gently, with no gaps and no seams, nothing left uncovered. Let me tell you something about the color of that light, because it's a soft thing to picture. When it first slipped free of the fog, it wasn't invisible the way it is now. It glowed with a warm, deep color, something like the last red embers in a fire that's burned low and easy through a long evening. That quiet, resting orange red that asks nothing of you, that just sits there and warms the room and slowly fades while you doze in front of it. That's the color the whole sky glowed back then. The entire universe, every direction of it, filled with that low, warm ember light, cooling by the smallest degrees as the ages passed. And then, so slowly, that no one anywhere could have watched it happen, the stretching of space drew that light out longer and longer, and its warm red glow eased down past the edge of what any eye could catch, down into the soft, invisible warmth it carries tonight. It didn't go out. It only went quiet. The ember didn't die. It simply cooled to the point where you feel it more than you see it, the way the last warmth of a fire lingers in a room long after the flames have settled to nothing. I find that such a restful way to think of it. Somewhere out past all our seeing, the beginning of everything is still glowing like banked coals under a soft gray ash, warm and low and patient, keeping its heat close, letting it out only a little at a time. It's been doing that for longer than there have been stars to see it by. It'll go on doing it long after tonight is a thing you've forgotten. And all it asks of you, all it has ever asked, is that you let it be there, faint and faithful, while you rest. There's a thing scientists say about that glow that I think you'll like, though I'll say it's soft, because it's the kind of idea that's better felt than studied. When they measure how warm that light is, that gentle warmth just a few degrees above the very coldest cold there can ever be, they find it's the smoothest, most even thing they've ever measured anywhere. Smoother than the calmest sea on the stillest morning. Smoother than a sheet of ice on a pond that froze without a single ripple. If you took its temperature in one part of the sky, and then turned all the way around, and took it again in the exact opposite part, the two readings would match so closely that the difference is smaller than you could ever feel. Smaller than the faintest change in the air when someone breathes softly across the room. The whole vast sky, warm to the very same gentle degree, in every direction, all the way around. Nothing in your daily life is that even. Nothing you've ever touched is that smooth. And yet it's there, wrapped around everything, the most peaceful measurement in all of science. I like to let that smoothness settle over me on the nights when my own thoughts feel jagged, when the day has left little rough edges I can't quite sand down. I think about that sky, warm to the same soft degree in every direction, and something in me eases if the whole universe can be that calm, that even, that untroubled from one end to the other. then surely I can let one restless evening go quiet. Surely I can let the little rough edges of my own day smooth themselves out, the way that ancient warmth smoothed itself out across the whole of everything, given nothing but time and room to spread. And it did have time. That's the part I keep coming back to. Nobody rushed that light. Nobody stood over it, tapping a foot, waiting for it to cool. It took exactly as long as it took, easing down degree by patient degree, stretching gently along with the space it traveled through. Never once hurried, never once late. There was no schedule it had to keep. There was no deadline waiting for it at the far end of the dark. It simply cooled at the pace that cooling happens, which is the only pace there is. The same slow, honest pace that a warm cup gives up its heat to a quiet kitchen. The same pace your own body is easing down to right now, letting the last of the day's warmth spread softly out into the room around you. Let me tell you one more small thing about how that light finds us, because I think it's tender. When those careful instruments were built to catch it, the ones lifted up above the clouds, out past the thickest of the air, to where the sky is cleanest and stillest, they had to be made cold themselves. Colder than the light they were listening for. The people who built them understood something gentle about that glow. That to hear a whisper, you first have to grow quieter than the whisper. So they cooled their instruments down, 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 close to that same deepest cold the ancient light had drifted toward over all its long ages. And only then, hushed and still and cold, could those instruments finally sit and listen and let the oldest light settle onto them like the faintest warmth landing on a patient hand held open in the dark. I think there's a lesson tucked in there, soft enough for falling asleep on. To hear the quietest thing, you have to become quiet yourself. To feel the gentlest warmth, you have to let your own busy heat die down first. And that's exactly what you're doing now, isn't it? You've been cooling all evening, growing quieter and quieter, letting the day's restless energy thin out and drift away until you're still enough at last to feel the faint and faithful glow that was here the whole time, waiting under all the noise for you to grow calm enough to notice it. You didn't have to chase it. You only had to settle. And now here you are, hushed and warm and still, exactly quiet enough for the oldest light to reach you. There's a softness to knowing that the thing you're resting inside of asks so little. It doesn't need you to understand it. It doesn't need you to remember its name in the morning, or how many degrees it measures, or where it came from, or how long it took to cool. It doesn't keep any account of who's noticed it and who hasn't. The stars don't thank it. The dust doesn't thank it. Whole galaxies drift through it every moment of their long, slow lives, and never once turn to acknowledge the gentle warmth they're bathed in. And it minds none of that. It goes on glowing all the same, even and patient and unbothered. The most generous, quiet thing there is, giving its faint warmth freely to everything and everyone, expecting nothing back, keeping no score at all, so you can rest inside it the same easy way. You don't owe it your attention. You don't owe it your wonder. Though wonder comes gently sometimes, all on its own, the way it may have come to you tonight. You can simply let it hold you, the way it holds the far stars and the drifting dust and the empty reaches in between, with that same wide, mild, even patience that has never once run short. Not in all the ages since the fog first cleared, and never will. There's more than enough of it to go around. There always has been. It fills every corner of everything, and there's still no end to it. Still no place it doesn't reach. Still no thing too small or too far or too forgotten to be wrapped in its gentle glow. And you tonight are one of those things. It's wrapping. Not because you earned it, not because you did anything right today, or finished everything you meant to, or tied off every loose end that came unraveled. Just because you're here, resting in the quiet. One more calm and settled thing among all the calm and settled things the ancient light has always held. It doesn't ask what kind of day you had. It doesn't care whether you got it all done. It only pours its faint warmth over you, the same as it pours it over everything else, evenly, patiently, all the way through the night. And it'll still be pouring when the morning comes and eases you awake. And it'll go right on pouring after that, whether you think of it or not, holding the whole slow universe together in the softest possible way while you go about your day and forget it entirely. And that's all right. That's exactly how it likes to work. Quietly, in the background, asking nothing, keeping the peace it's kept since the very beginning, ready to hold you again the moment you lie back down and let the world grow small. And here's something else worth resting on, softly, before the night carries you all the way under. That ancient glow isn't thin, the way a single beam of light is thin. It isn't a line you could trace from one point to another. It fills. It fills the way water fills a bath, the way warmth fills a room when you've left the door closed and the evening settle in. Everywhere you could possibly point, in every little pocket of space around you, there are countless tiny travelers of that old light drifting through, quietly, all the time. If you could somehow hold out your cupped hands in the dark and gather up just a small handful of the empty-seeming air, you'd be holding hundreds of them in that little space alone. Hundreds of parcels of the oldest light there is, passing through your open palms, asking nothing, leaving no weight behind, simply moving along the way they've moved since the very beginning. There's a plainness to that I find so restful. We tend to imagine the grandest, oldest things must be far away, locked behind some great distance, kept apart from ordinary life by miles and miles of dark. And so much of the universe really is like that, remote and cold and out of reach. But not this. This is the one ancient thing that's near. It's in the space above your blanket. It's in the little gap between your hand and the pillow. It's threading gently through the room this very moment. Hundreds upon hundreds of tiny glimmers in every small handful of the dark. And not one of them needs you to do a thing about it. You can just lie here in the middle of all that quiet company and let it move through and around you the way it always has. Let me tell you where the very edge of it is, because even that is a gentle thought. When you look out at that old glow, when the instruments look out at it for us, they're really looking at a kind of soft, faraway wall. Not a hard wall, not a wall you could ever bump against. It's the place, far off in every direction, where the fog finally thinned and the light broke free all those ages ago. The scientists have a quiet name for it. They call it the surface of last scattering, which is just a soft way of saying the last place the light bounced before it was set loose to travel clean and free across all that open space. And here's the tender part. That surface isn't somewhere out there, off to one side. It wraps all the way around you, in every direction at once, like the inside of an enormous, gentle shell. You're sitting right at the center of it. Not because you're special, not because anyone put you there, but simply because everywhere is the center of it. Everyone who's ever looked has found themselves in the middle of that same soft shell of ancient light, each of them at their own quiet center, all of them held the same way. I think about that on the nights when I feel a little off to the side of things, a little out of place. And then I remember that when it comes to this oldest light, there is no off to the side. There's no back of the room, no far corner, no seat by the door. Wherever you happen to be lying tonight, you're at the very heart of it, wrapped all the way around, held evenly on every side by a glow that's set out toward you from the beginning of everything, and has been on its way, patiently, ever since. And it's still on its way, you know? That's another soft thing to hold as you drift. The light reaching your room tonight left its faraway wall a very long time ago. But there's always more of it arriving. Always fresh light coming in from a little farther out. From a wall that's a little older and a little more distant. Light that's been traveling just a touch longer to find you. It never runs dry. It never comes to the last of itself and stops, night after night, year after year, age after age. The oldest light keeps arriving, steady and faithful and unhurried. And it will go right on arriving long after tonight is a thing you've entirely forgotten. There's a comfort in a well that deep. You never have to worry about using it up. You never have to be careful with it or save it or wonder whether there'll be enough left for tomorrow. There's always enough. There's always more coming. It's the one thing in all the world you could never spend, no matter how many quiet nights you rest inside it. Let me tell you something gentle about how slowly it's changing, because I think it will ease you further down. That light is cooling. Yes, we've talked about that. The way its warmth keeps thinning out as everything stretches wider. But the cooling is so slow that in all the long span of a human life, in all the nights you'll ever lie down to sleep, it won't cool by any amount you could ever feel or measure. It's the same tonight as it was on the night you were born, and the same as it'll be on every night still ahead of you, for you and for everyone you'll ever know. It simply holds that faint, even warmth, a couple of degrees above the very coldest there is, steady as anything, unchanging across a whole lifetime. It's only over spans so vast they make a lifetime look like a single blink that the cooling shows it all. So you can lean on it. You can treat it as fixed, as settled, as one thing that will not shift beneath you while you sleep. Whatever else moves and changes in your days, this old glow stays put, holding its gentle warmth for you, patient beyond anything you'd need to ask of it. And here's a soft one to fold in alongside that. For all the unimaginable time this light has been traveling, and for all the unimaginable time it has yet to travel, it has never once been lost. Not a single one of those tiny parcels of light has ever wandered off and misplaced itself. They don't tire. They don't slow and drift to a halt somewhere out in the dark and give up. They simply keep going, each at the same steady pace, carrying that same faint warmth, following the long, gentle curves of space wherever those curves lead them, on and on and on. Some of them have been traveling this whole time only to arrive, tonight, in your quiet room, slipping through the air above your bed at the exact moment you happen to be lying here, still and warm and nearly asleep. That's a long way to come for such a small, soft arrival. And it asks nothing of you in return. It doesn't even need you to have noticed. It only came, the way it comes to everything, and passed gently through, and went on. Let me tell you why we can trust that it's really the oldest, because even that is a peaceful thought. It's not that we've simply failed to find anything older. It's that there couldn't be anything older to find. Not in light anyway. Before this glow broke free, remember, the whole young universe was that thick, warm fog, and no light could travel clean through it. Light back then couldn't get anywhere. It was caught endlessly, bouncing and scattering and never breaking loose. So this old glow, this faint warmth arriving from every side, marks the very first moment light was ever free to travel at all. Look toward it, and you're looking as far back as looking can ever take you. There's no earlier picture. There's no deeper page. This is the oldest thing any eye or any instrument will ever see. The first clear light in all of history. And it's here, tonight, in the room, passing softly through the dark around your bed. You've reached the very back of the album, the first photograph ever taken of anything, and you're resting right inside it. I find something so settling in reaching the end of a thing like that. All day long there's more to read, more to answer, more waiting just past whatever you finished. Another thing behind the thing, but not here. Here you've come all the way to the bottom of time, as far down as down goes, and there's nothing underneath it but that first soft glow. Nowhere further to reach, nothing older to chase. You can set down the whole habit of reaching just for tonight and rest at the quiet floor of everything, where the oldest light waits and there's nothing beyond it to want. Let me tell you one last gentle thing about its evenness, because I keep turning it over like a smooth stone in my pocket. When that light first broke free, the whole universe it filled was so small, so close packed and near to itself, that every part of it had time to touch every other part and settle into the very same warmth. It smoothed itself out, the way a room full of people talking will slowly settle to the same quiet hum. The way a bath drawn a little uneven will even itself out if you just leave it be for a moment. And then everything stretched wide, carrying that smoothness with it, spreading it out across all the enormous space there now is. So the evenness you find in the light today, that astonishing sameness in every direction, is really the memory of a time when everything was close together and had the chance to agree on how warm to be. The far side of the sky and the near side, the light over your left shoulder and the light over your right. They were neighbors once, close enough to share their warmth, and they've simply carried that shared warmth apart ever since, holding to it faithfully across all the distance that came between them. I think that's such a kind thing to know as you drift, that the calm you're resting in tonight isn't an accident, and it isn't fragile. It's the long, patient memory of a closeness from the very beginning, smoothed out and spread wide and carried gently down through every age to this one, arriving at last in your quiet room, laid over you as evenly as it's laid over everything else. Nothing about it is rushed. Nothing about it is uncertain. It's simply here, the way it's been here all along, holding its faint, even warmth steady around you, while the night deepens and your breathing slows and the whole wide world grows small and soft and far away. And there's nothing left for you to do with any of it, but let it hold you, the way it's always held everything, gently, evenly, and without end. And here, near the very end of it all, I want to leave you with a few soft thoughts you can carry down into sleep. The kind you don't have to hold on to. The kind that hold on to you instead. You know, there's a strange comfort in knowing that this light we've been resting inside all night doesn't belong to anyone. Nobody discovered it into existence. Nobody switched it on. It was already here, filling every last corner of the dark, long before there was a single person to notice it, long before there were eyes of any kind, or stars to make those eyes, or worlds for those stars to warm. It simply was, and is, and quietly goes on being. And on a night like this one, when the day has finally loosened its grip and the room has gone still, I find that such an easy thing to lean my whole weight against. Not a thing you have to keep, just a thing that keeps. Let me tell you one small, tender fact I've been saving for the very last, because it's the sort of thing that's nicest to hear when you're already more asleep than awake. All that gentle warmth washing through the room right now, all that faint and even glow, a little piece of it, a very little piece, is something you've met before, long before tonight, without ever knowing. Back when people watched those old televisions I mentioned, the big boxy ones, and the screen would fill with that soft, snowy static between the channels. A tiny fraction of that fuzz, that quiet flicker, was this very light. The oldest light there is, showing up uninvited in the corner of an ordinary living room, on an ordinary evening, brushing against people who had no idea they were sitting in the glow of the beginning of everything. It was there in those quiet houses, just as surely as it's here in your quiet room. It has never needed a grand occasion. It comes to the ordinary places, the sleepy places, the small rooms at the end of long days, and it settles in without a word. I think about that sometimes, on nights when I feel like nothing much happened, when the day was plain and gray and unremarkable, and then I remember that the plainest, quietest moment I could pick is still soaked through with the very first light of the universe, arriving faithfully, asking for nothing, expecting no thanks. There's no such thing as an empty evening. There's no such thing as a room with nothing in it. Even the darkest corner of the plainest night is brimming, gently, with that ancient, even warmth. And so are you. And so is the space just above your pillow, and the space just past the window, and every quiet inch between here and the far edge of the sky. Before you drift all the way under, let me leave the smallest of thoughts with you, and then I'll let you go. When this story ends, you don't need to do a single thing. If another one begins on its own, softly, a little while from now, just let it. Let it carry on the way this ancient light carries on. One gentle thing following another with no seam between them, no effort, no reaching. You don't have to reach for the next one, and you don't have to stop it either. Let it come the way the glow comes, quietly, from every direction, meeting you right where you already are. There's nothing to press, nothing to choose. Just let the quiet keep flowing, one calm hour easing into the next, the way it always has. And if, some evening, when you're feeling a little more awake than this one, you find that these slow stories have become a small comfort to you, a soft place you like to return to at the end of the day, then, whenever it's easy, whenever you happen to think of it, it would mean a great deal to me if you'd quietly subscribe and follow along. No hurry about it. No effort tonight. Just a small, sleepy kindness for another evening. So the quiet finds its way back to you the next time you need it. That's all. It can wait for morning. It can wait for whenever. Now let everything go loose again. Let the last of the story loosen its hold on you, the way the young universe loosened its hold on that light and let it wander free at last. You've come such a long way tonight, all the way down to the very first glow, all the way back to the oldest thing there is. And now there's nowhere further to travel and nothing left to learn. You can lay it all down. Every fact, every picture, every gentle number I've spoken. You can let each one slip quietly out of your hands, the way you'd let go of a smooth stone at the end of a long walk, and watch it settle into the still water without a ripple. Think, if you like, one last easy time of how patient all of this has been. That light spent longer than you could ever count, just wandering in the warm fog, going nowhere, waiting for its moment. Then it spent an unimaginable stretch of ages, crossing the empty dark to reach this exact room, this exact night, this exact bed where you're resting now. It was never once in a hurry. It never once gave up its steady, even warmth. It never wondered whether the journey was worth it, or whether anyone would be here to feel it arrive. It simply came, softly and faithfully, across all that time and all that distance. And now it's here, laid over you as gently as a hand smoothing a blanket flat. You didn't have to do anything to deserve its coming. You only had to be here. And you are. That's enough. That's always been enough. So let the room stay small and soft around you. Let the warmth stay even, the way it stayed even across the whole of the sky since the very first morning of everything. Let your breath keep doing what it's already doing, all on its own, slow and quiet, needing nothing from you. There's no next thing waiting tonight. There's no edge you're about to reach. There's only this, the oldest light in the universe, faint and faithful and endlessly patient, holding its gentle glow steady all around you, the same as it holds it steady around every star and every stone, and every sleeping thing in all the wide and quiet dark. You are held by the very first light there ever was. You always have been. You always will be. And there is nothing left for you to do with any of it now, but sink the last little way down into rest, soft and unhurried, carried gently by a warmth older than everything. And let it be enough that you are simply, quietly, here. Rest now. Let the glow hold you. Let the night carry you the rest of the way. Good night.